Hello and welcome to Breaking Paranormal News. As a bit of a recap, I occasionally do this type of video when things in the paranormal world find their way into mainstream media. A lot of times these articles are taken down rather quickly, and I wanted to bring the information to all of you. Normally there is only one occurrence, but with this one, the paranormal world has been quite busy. Loch Ness. It seems as much as I try to shy away from doing videos on Nessie, the topic keeps coming up. Scotland is home to many beautiful locations and landmarks, but one of the most popular features is Loch Ness. The loch is the second largest Scottish loch and is 755 feet or 230 meters at its deepest point. There are actually 15 lochs in Scotland, but none are as famous as Loch Ness. Since 565 AD, with a report from St. Columba, till present day, there have been numerous sightings of the Loch Ness monster. Many people have devoted their lives to trying to capture the creature, but as of yet, outside of an odd image and a faked photograph in 1933, no proof of its existence has been found. Frequently the beast is depicted as a form of a plesiosaur with a very familiar long neck. For years a debate has raged as to if it is possible for a creature of its size to live and thrive in the loch. Many point out that being the area is relatively landlocked, it would be impossible, but others mention the possibility of underwater caves that connect to larger water sources or even the ocean. Recently, scientists discovered the fossilized remains of an ichthyosaurus on the banks of Loch Ness. With this discovery, it may point out that Nessie actually looks totally different, all the while pointing broadly at the possibility that there is outside access to the waters, at least at one point in time. As many of you know, I have always been on the fence as to this cryptid's existence, but with this recent discovery, it certainly is interesting. NASA. Oh NASA, you are so predictable. Space is a wondrous thing with many beautiful sights and things that let us realize how small our solar system actually is. The International Space Station was launched on 1998 with the purpose of supporting human life for an extended period of time and to conduct experiments on various topics, all of which relates to human life and how things react differently in space. While I blame NASA for this report, I must note that the ISS is controlled by a joint effort with Japanese, Russian, European, and Canadian space agencies. Frequently the station has sent back breathtaking photos of our Earth. In some of those images, strange objects have been observed that are quite reminiscent of UFOs. The space station has even had live feeds of what it captures while it orbits our blue planet. Mysteriously, in a few of those feeds, some objects were caught that are unexplainable, but each time, conveniently, NASA cut the feed or suddenly experienced video difficulties. The feed would stay offline for a prolonged period of time or shut down completely. Each time they were questioned about what people saw, they denied it or claimed it was something else. Recently, another such event happened, and NASA announced that they were going to be shutting down live feeds for good. Now keep in mind that some of the images could be explained while others could not be, and that when the term UFO is used, it simply means an unidentified flying object, not necessarily meaning alien. I personally think that we have UFOs as well as extraterrestrials do. Poltergeist. On our last bit of news, this report was mentioned on August 16th and it involves poltergeist activity in Rutherglen, South Lancashire, Scotland. The family affected were suddenly afflicted with strong activity, so much to the fact that they called the police 2 days in a row. Finally, the police decided to act on the calls and showed up to the residence while being very skeptical of the situation. As it was reported, the police thought it was going to be a case of a mental breakdown or from the use of drugs. While the authorities arrived, they were shocked to experience the activity themselves. While at the home, they saw objects flying around the room, clothes levitating by themselves, lights turning off and on, and even the family's dog Chihuahua being seen floating to a nearby hedge. Confounded by the situation, the men called their supervisor, who at first didn't believe them or thought it was all a prank. When he arrived, he noted the experience himself and could only assume that the event was paranormal. Eventually, not knowing what to do, the officers contacted the Catholic Church in order to have the house cleansed. The reports don't go into detail as to what the results of this was, but it did mention that the family were not staying at the home, at least for a while. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.